Good afternoon, students. In today's session, we would like to go through the next topic, that is the topic 4, operation and mismanagement, majority rules and minority protection under company law. Now, before we go through, it is very important to understand how this majority and minority and operation works in the corporate sector or in the company law, because this particular section has been developed since Company Act 1956 to 2006 and then 2013. So in this entire session that we will be going through, I would like to, or I would try to give an analysis of how the this particular genre were there in the 2006, 1956, and how it has developed in 2013. To begin with, in a corporate world, all democratic decisions and management of a company are made with the majority rule. I hope you understand the meaning of what majority is, majority and minority. However, if you still have a problem in the sessions going on, when I'll go through, I will make you explain what is the meaning of majority and minority. Well, so to begin with, in this particular corporate world, the companies are made, the managements are made through a majority rules, which is deemed to be fair and justified. Majority rule of a decision making is quite often than not overlooked the views of minority shareholders. A minority shareholders, on the other hand, is the person in a company who does not enjoy much powers in the management of the company in their interest and to their disregard. However, despite despite these provisions placed in Companies Act 1956 for the protection of the interests of the minority shareholders, the minority shareholders have found themselves incapable of exercising their rights due to lack of resources or times. But with due diligence, with the time developed, this resulted as to the dominancy in the majority structure and separation of minority shareholders. And to solve only this problem, Company Act 2013 came into existence with a solution to overcome these particular problems which are being faced by the minorities. And therefore, to decline this particular problem, the company law came up with the solution wherein the definition of minority shareholders. However, to solve this problem, the Company Law Amendment 2013 came into existence. But the definition of minority shareholders, which was a main lacuna in Companies Act 2013, was that the definition of the minority shareholders are even though mentioned in Company Act 2013, but under Section 235, which talks about power to acquire shares of the dissenting shareholders, and 244, right to apply for the operation and mismanagement of Company Act 2013. The minority shareholders are thereby given 10% of the shares or minimum 100% shareholders. Whatsoever is less, with share capital and 1/3 of the total number of its members in case of the companies without the share capital. The members holding the maximum shares are considered to be the majority shareholders in the company. Now, this was in regards to the how this minority and majority came into existence, or what was the precursor in the before the pre-existence of 2013 Company Act, and how now this particular problem, the separation of minority, was being resolved. To begin with, we will be starting with the meaning actually of the word operation. Now you might wonder, okay, why I have started with the term operation. Please understand the word operation I have also, right, just now I have used in my lecture also, because of this particular operation. This operation actually invoked the implementation or invocation of the 2013 Company Act, wherein the minority was being given a proper place in the act. And not only that, an equality was being devoted between the majority and the minority shareholders. Now, the meaning of operation, if we talk about, as explained by Lord Cooper, the essence of the matter seems to be that the visible conduct complained of should at the lowest involve the visible departure from the standard of fair dealing and violations of conditions of fair play, on which every shareholder who entrusts his mind to the company is entitled to rely. Which means, in a simple language, if I talk about the term operation, if we call it in simple language, it means the what I will say, the standard of departure, the standard of departure, and also the state of being, conditions wherein the condition of fair play must exist, and also the lowest level of fair dealings and violations of the conditions of fair play, and also if comes under with the section of 397 clause 1 of Company Act 1956, which talks about that when affairs of the company are being conducted in a manner prejudicial to the public interest, or in a manner which is oppressive to any members or member. So therefore, it means the term mismanagement is referred to the process and practice, or it also means that lack of morality and fair dealings. In simple language, if I talk about. The next is the term mismanagement. Now, from where this mismanagement has happened? Mismanagement comes when there is operation. When there is operation, there will be yielding to the mismanagement of the company. So thereby, it means that if I talk about the mismanagement, the term mismanagement is when by a reason of material change in the management or control of the company affairs, and the company is likely to be conducted in a manner which might be prejudicial to the public interest, which means that, keeping in mind section 394 and 395, mismanagement can be a situation in which something like company or an economic is organized or is controlled in a bad shape, and actually it is prejudicing or harming the company's interest and also the public interest. In this regard, the if I talk about, if you can see the next slide, the majority, you can see the Foss versus Harbottle. Now you might wonder why this Foss versus Harbottle has came into existence. To start this particular, you need to understand that the company law does not unfortunately define the meaning of the word minority shareholders, but generally it has been understood that those holding the minor shares are known as minority shareholders. It can also be understood by saying that minority shareholders are those who hold such number of shares which does not give them the control over the company. The management of a company is usually based on the majority rule. This decision is usually known as the basis of majority, and this principle is the will of the majority has been prevailed as the principle of majority rule. The principle, I repeat again, this right where the minority, wherein the are given to the director, the management of a company is usually based on the majority rule. And the general rule in any company is that the directors are the elected representatives of the company, and hence they have the right to manage the affairs of the company. Those rights that are not given to the directors are exercised by the members in the general meeting. This decision is usually based on the matters of majority. Thus, the majority rule means the right of majority shareholders to run a company and manage the affairs. This in turn means the majority has its own way in the general meetings, and these rights of the minority shareholders are hence limited in the company, especially in the during the general meetings. And this principle is that the will of a majority should prevail over the minority is known as the principle of majority, which is also, or principle of majority rule, which is also has been implemented in Dr. Ashok Sharma, uh, Company Law and Secretariat Practice versus K Enterprise, New Delhi 2010 judgment. This is also known as that the Foss versus Harbottle rule, which is a leading English law, leading English precedental law in corporate affairs. Thus, which also means that the injuries alleged caused to a corporation alone and not to the members must be remedied not by the members but by the corporate action. This is also known as the proper plaintiff rule, and it is applicable here because the company is considered as a separate entity, and hence only it can approach in case of any wrong committed to the company and not to the individual shareholders. This was the rule that is also followed in India, since it is because it is derived from the common law. But there are certain exceptions to the rules which are not properly redressed for the mechanizing the company. Presently, the rule has been diluted and suit changing needs and offer protection to the minority shareholders. Now, so thereby, a Foss versus Harbottle rule, if I can talk about, in which I have told you that the if there is any injury to the corporation alone and not to the members, the remedy also not should be given not by the members but by the corporation action. Now, by the corporation action means what? It means that the since a company is a legal entity, so therefore it also means that it is an event initiated by the public company or by, typically agreed upon by the company board or the director. So it has to be done by the board and board of directors and not by the members. So therefore, if we talk about the rule of Foss versus Harbottle, rule, if I talk about its origin, if I talk about the Foss versus Harbottle rule has been origined, or if we talk the majority rule originated in this case, as mentioned earlier. In this case, two shareholders, that is Victoria Park Company, who filed a case against the 5 directors. They had claimed that the company's property has been misapplied and squandered, and they have also squandered, and they also held that the defendant should be held liable, and of course should be held liable, and the defendant should for the company, and sought for the appointment of a receiver. And therefore, it is for this reason it was however ruled that the plaintiffs, therefore it was ruled that the plaintiff were incompetent to bring any such proceedings and sole right to do so, and was with the company or with the representatives. It is only necessary to refer to the clause of the act whilst the supreme governing body, the proprietor of a special general meeting, exercising the functions of the functions conferred upon the act of incorporation. Therefore, it was held that minority shareholders are bound by the actions of the majority shareholders, and thereby this is known as the corporate action, or also the rule of majority concept, or majority rule, principle of majority rule. So basically, in one word, principle of majority rule basically talks of 2 agenda. First, that the majority should prevail. Second, protection of the majority should be supreme. Keeping this particular in mind, there are several judgments which has been enunciated. The first is Bajekar versus Shikhar, in which it was being held that the company's right to ratify any type of agreement, and no inference is required in such manners. No inference is required in the internal matters. The board in this particular case, the board appointed a dubious agent, which was being ratified during the annual general meeting. For the same, the minority directors filed a suit, and this was being held that the company's right to ratify any type of agreement and no inference is required in the internal matters. Similarly, in Rajamundry Electric Supply versus Nargesh Rao, the court also opined that the court opined that it will not interfere in the internal matters of the company or management of the directors, as long as the act within the ambit of the powers conferred on them under the article of association. So basically, if it is not being mentioned in article of association, court will never interfere into the internal affairs of the company. And this particular concept I have also told you when I had taught you the unit 2, that is the various types of the legal existence or legal personality of a company, when I was teaching you the doctrine of corporate veil. Similarly, in the case of Shanti Prasad Jain versus Kalinga Tube, Supreme Court held that mere fact of allotment does not constitute operation. The court clarified further that the fact which should be there is merely to justify any potential mismanagement or operation. Now, exception. What are the exception to the majority rule? There are actually 4 exceptions to the majority rule. The first one is the Ultra Vires Act. Now, what do you mean by the Ultra Vires Act? The major Ultra Vires Act means that the rule is highly the second is special majority is needed. Third is personal rights are infringed, and the last is fraud is committed by those in control. So basically, if I talk about the criticism or exception to the rule, it means that the exceptions are merely to protect the rights of the minorities regardless the majority's vote, because there are also methods to safeguard the minorities' interest. And thereby, with this particular exceptions, that is where there is an Ultra Vires Act, or where there is a special majority needed, when their personal rights are infringed, or when the fraud has been committed by those in control. So in these four kind of exceptions gives the authority or power to the minority shareholders to control in case such discrepancies happen, or such limitations are being bounded to the majority in the company. Next is the minority. If we talk about the minority, you can see here that what are the criteria? That is the 100 members or minimum 1/10 of the member, whoever is less. Any members or members holding not less than 1/10 of the issued capital. Now, if we talk about the comparative analysis, you can understand there is a comparison, as I've told in 1956 and 2013. In 1956, circumstances for operation was not defined, but in 2013, operation and management both has been covered. In 1956, again, covers existed only for the operation, but in 2013, it covered past acts, the retrospective laws of operation, as well as the prospective effect. In 1956, only shareholders were covered. In 2013, Section 2245 includes even the depositors as well. In 1956, class actions were absent, but in 2013, you can see that under 245 section, class action has been mentioned and it's also possible. If we talk about reconstruction and amalgamation, was not been allowed in 1956, but which got a very good position, which got a very good place under section 235 and 236. And talking about the shareholders and directors, please understand, shareholders and directors and independent directors was defuncting in 1956, but it got a stringent rule was mentioned for these 3 categories in 2013 Act. Moving on to mention the section 151, that is the small shareholders. If you talk about the meaning of small shareholders, it means they are not the minority one, but they have the right to elect specific shareholders and to table a proposal they should have minimum 10% of the shareholders or 1,000, whichever is lesser. Operation and mismanagement, that is 241, if we talk about, which has been mentioned in Life Insurance Corporation versus Escort Limited, in which certain guidelines has been followed in regards to operation and mismanagement, mentioned in section 241, which talks about to elect the directors and participate in the management, to enjoy the profits of the company, to apply for the reliefs against operation, to apply to the court the winding up, and to share surplus amount of profits during the wind up in the company. Further, moving to section 241, the material has changed in which the management or control of the company, or whether there is an alteration or in the ownership of the company, or where any action is actually prejudicing the affairs or class of the company. Here again, in 2013, when you're studying section 242, you will find the power of National Company Law Tribunal. What are the powers of National Company Law Tribunal in regards to the operation and mismanagement of majority and minority? The first one, it may pass an order to regulate the affairs of the company, or to purchase the shares, or to terminate any prejudicial agreements, restrict the transfer, remove any managing directors, or even impose cost if he thinks fit. Class action, if I talk about, is again mentioned in section 245, in which the lawsuit, if filed in NCLT against the company, which can be done either for the common interest, or for the management, or for the welfare of the management, and that also, it has been given that it can be filed by anyone, or to any who wants to restrain any kind of prejudicial transaction, or to claim damage for the mismanagement. The next is the section 235 and 236, which talks also about the minority squeeze out, in which talks about protecting the interest of the minority. Which are that only on acquiring 90% of the capital, it shall offer to minority for buying equity share. Second, the minority can make an offer to the majority to buy their share. And the third is the transfer company will have to act as a transfer agent for making the payment to minority shareholders. The next is, you can also refer to any of the cases to all the three cases are very important. That is the AIG Mauritius, or the Cadbury India Limited, Sterilite Industries. Even though there are n number of cases has been, I've tried to maintain enlighten all the important judgments in your affairs, or in your lecture material also. And the last is the miscellaneous protection. What are the other miscellaneous protection can be given to the minority shareholders? That is adoption of fair valuation, or even referring to section 188, which relates to the party transaction, or even relating to section 114, which helps to block special resolutions if greater than 25%, or in case of members in 1,000, e-voting is also can be made possible in case the members are 1,000 or more. So that was all for this topic 4. However, if you find any kind of problem in understanding the concept, you are most welcome to contact me or coordinate with me. Thank you for the day, and all the best.